Greetings, everyone. My name is Johnny McElherron. This is In the Metal, and thank you very much for joining us for a midweek episode of In the Metal. And I am delighted to reach across the pond to catch up with my great friend. Of course, I have this going on in another window as well, so I'll just shut that up. And Jay Kumar. So, Jay, how the hell are you doing, man?
Oh my God, I had a fantastic week last week. I was in Montauk when we had this episode last week, and it was brilliant. Though the Atlantic was freezing cold, but the weather was amazing. And I had my birthday, so 59, which is actually crazy.
Wow,
not good. I can feel the pain inside me, but I got this one, which is a beautiful looking Longines. It's called the Tuxedo, I think, with a beautiful metal bracelet.
That's cool. That's
original. Cool. And I'm wearing my 1967 birth here Rolex date just, which is a 14-karat gold watch, which was made only for the US. Here I am,
a discerning gentleman. Absolutely. What are you doing hanging with me, man?
I mean, this is exactly the reason why I'm hanging with you, so that there's somebody who can talk sense to me also in a strange way.
Really? I see. Right. Okay. That's it's not something I'm known for around my domestic anyway. So yeah. So Jay, what's going on? Well, apart from parts of New York falling, about to collapse into the streets, and what you leave for 1 week, Jay, and what do they do to the place?
Chaos happens in Brooklyn and New York. It's insane. The storm, all the trees on the it's crazy. My hood blows up. It's insane the things what happened last week, but we are still in a good space.
I have very fond memories. Well, it's actually quite topical because in 1994, Ireland were in the World Cup, which was the last time it was held in the USA. Yeah. And I had the great experience of spending a few days around New York, and it's such a buzz and such an energy that just filters up from the streets in that place. And it is a unique place, a unique city, and it's you mentioned chaos. It's just chaos, and sometimes there's a thing called organized chaos. Well, it isn't even that. It works. New York works.
New York does work. In the end, somebody jumps in, somebody organizes, somebody sorts out. It normally works out. But as I said, it's not easy. It's sort of gets to where you want it to be, but at the same time, so many things happen.
Yeah. It's nonstop. It's nonstop. I always loved it, and I'm looking forward to getting back over again soon and visiting you in Folk.
That is something what we were talking about even last time. But you got to take time to come in. But I know that you have a lot going on, so let us get on with what we're going to.
There's a few things going on in DJ, and we'll talk about those in the next few weeks. I hope whenever I've got my head together and have a good idea of what's happening. You see, one of the problems when you're organizing something is don't do it at this time of year, because in the watch industry, everybody's gone. You send out emails and you get tumbleweeds in reply. And that's why you and I are sitting here for the last 2 weeks. It's great fun, but there's nobody around to talk to. They're all going, man, yeah, I'm on vacation. I'm going, no good. That's no good. That's not helpful. No. So what I decided, what we thought we would do, obviously, was to take a look at a few watches that had sailed past on the horizon over the last week or two. And even as I was working on them today, I know a few more pieces I've seen that I'd love to get covered. We'll maybe roll back and look at those next time. But so there was a couple that did catch my eye. I know you've just showed me what you were wearing there, your Longines tuxedo and your 1967 Rolex. And
I want to see what you have.
I'm wearing this. This is my Chronoswiss classic chronograph.
Beautiful. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. Is it?
That is, it is absolutely, it's rarely taken out. It's rarely that I would have this out.
Wow.
And there is a fantastic, well, to me, a
Yeah.
fantastic story behind it. I originally, do you know what we'll do? We'll talk about that story another day because, you know,
Those lugs, those lugs, those lugs.
the
Great.
teardrop mugs.
Yeah,
absolutely.
fantastic.
Yes. I'm still getting used to this camera thing, everything being the opposite of what you expect it to be when you're holding your watch up to the camera. But it's, a thing of beauty. So it is. We know that the man that founded Chronoswiss was Gert Rüdiger Lang.
Yeah.
And
I think his sister, his daughter took over after and then sold it to another company or something like that. I don't know exactly what happened.
A husband and wife team took it on in, so I think about 2012, I think.
Yeah.
And so they have been nurturing the brand along since then. And I have to say, pretty damn well too.
Yeah.
Because one of the reasons that I'm sporting the Chronoswiss tonight is because one of the pieces that I had noticed that have been released in the last few weeks was a really striking watch called the Pulse GMT.
That's crazy.
That is a smart looking watch, and it has the distinctive, that big oversized onion crown that really is a signature trademark of Chronoswiss. And so this is the Pulse GMT Gold with frosted guilloché. And I'm hoping that the images that I have would be able to see that guilloché effect, because what they have done with the dial, firstly, just looking at that head on is, man, that's a very, very cool piece.
What a beautiful. So let me look. It says you have it's the hours. It's like you have the GMT is on it also 24 hours.
It has. I thought when I saw this first, before, as I always dive headlong in and try to figure out what it is, I thought we were looking at hours, minutes, and then a home time and a 24-hour dial as well.
Yeah,
it's actually kind of like a regulateur fashion, because you've got
central, a regulator, yeah.
It's not quite. It's central minutes and seconds. So the two large ones.
Oh, those are the seconds with it. Oh, I see.
Minutes and seconds.
Yes, I see.
Minutes and seconds. And and then you have the two little domed subdials there at the 3 o'clock and the 6 o'clock, which are for, one is the 12-hour, which is your local time, and the second one is for home time, which is a 24-hour setting. And which is and to me, I just thought that is, for what it's practical, and it is also really, really cool looking piece, and very distinctive. And they have if we look at that, at the dial there, folks, for those who are listening, what Chronoswiss have done, they've taken the brass plate that they create the dial out of, and they have given it a guilloché, kind of a sunray guilloché effect.
It's like sunray effect. Yes.
Yeah. And the subdials are inset and they're slightly recessed, but they're domed. So they're
like two eyes.
Man, I was going to say they're like two eyeballs, but they actually are. And they've got a snailing effect on them, which for contrast, I think it looked absolutely fabulous.
Yes.
And but what they've done with the guilloché, so they've done this guilloché, and then they have sandblasted it.
Wow.
I've not seen this before on a guilloché dial. To the best of my recollection, I have not seen this before. and it is
It's really crazy. If you look at it, you have the sun ray effect, and then you have the sandblasting on that.
on top of that. Yeah, so it gives the guilloché a matte type appearance. Really, really like that,
and also the crown is very special. It looks like an onion crown, but
it is their onion crown. It is their onion crown.
It is,
And,
right?
Yeah, yeah. And so they have the signature. That's what I say. Like, we were looking there to see the new owners of Chronoswiss, and the name escapes me at the minute. But we'll edit that in later, Jay. Huh?
Yes, yes.
But it features the C6002 self-winding movement that has been done. It's a proprietary movement that has been finished to Chronoswiss specifications by Guilloché. And so we have this automatic self-winding with semi-skeletonized oscillating weight stroke and rotor, and with that matte finish and frosting, etc. It's a very, very nice looking piece.
Very handsome piece. Yeah, you're right. It's very nice. And normally you see the Chronoswiss, the recent pieces, which are very nice. They had these 3 jumping hours which came out, which were very, very handsome too. And then their regulators, I think they were very much concentrating on the regulator pieces recently. But this one is not the way they always did, but it is a bit different, right?
That's what I'm saying. It's they've moved on, and so they've brought the brand forward. So it's Oliver Epstein and his wife Ava who who are running, have taken over the mantle at Chronoswiss. As I say, doing a really, really nice job with that Pulse GMT frosted gold guilloché. 50 pieces, Jay. It is priced at 42,000 Swiss francs, excluding taxes and tariffs. Case measuring 41 millimeters across, 13 high, 5 and 18 karat rose gold. And it's got that satin finish, and the grooves, the kind of coin edged finish that Chronoswiss have on many of their pieces. They're kind of toning that down a bit, kind of similar to what we mentioned last week when we mentioned Armin Strom, where they toned down the lip at 6 o'clock. So they're sort of they're maintaining the signature characteristics, but fading them out a little bit at the same time as well. So really, really nice piece. So that was one that had caught my attention, and good to see Chronoswiss moving
I see something which I don't know if you notice that there isn't anything called Swiss made anymore, or is it just my thinking?
Well, I think one of the brands that really championed Swiss made was Moser, to the extent that I think they removed the term from their watches because they felt that the regulations for what actually qualifies as Swiss made are it's smoke and mirrors, Jay. It's you can get, there's, if you like, there is artistic license with what you get away with when you're talking about what qualifies for Swiss made. I'll have to look into that and report back to you next time around, man. And
I've seen a lot of these brands not putting in Swiss made anymore on their timepieces, which is a bit crazy in a way, because that's what everybody is looking at right now. But most of them, whatever artisans, they know what exactly they want maybe in their timepieces. I don't know. I mean, I just noticed that now on Chronoswiss also, which is
you see that on the dial. What does it actually say? It's
limited number 5
on the case back.
No.
Yeah, I'm not. It's Swiss made. It is there. It is there. And but it's relegated to the underside of the case. So it's
okay.
No, it's so that was What do you think of that one? Like for me, I've been a fan of Chronoswiss for a long time.
Yeah.
I will tell the Chronoswiss story someday because it's a good fun. Unfortunately, I have this watch back. I gave it to my dad many years ago, and so he unfortunately no longer needs it. So
Yeah.
I
So
got it. We'll do that story because it's had a storied existence, and
okay.
so yeah. So
So I
the
was
next one,
always a fan of Chronoswiss when it first came out. I was like, Gerd Lang, who was actually working with Breguet, and I think Patek also. He actually went off, and I think he is from München,
yeah,
and he was an amazing watchmaker. And when he came out with his first pieces, those what do you call of some of those models were amazingly. What was the names?
They're-
They had some Greek names too in it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So,
yeah. I remember,
you know
and they
what I
also had
mean? So, and each of them had those beautiful Breguet finishes. The dials and the case itself. And I was like, what amazing pieces they were, and not too crazily expensive as what the other brands were at that time. You know what I mean?
there you
And
go,
yeah,
accessible. They were
yeah,
accessible,
accessible. And
and
even now, when you look at these pieces, and I'm like, you can get a beautiful Chronosys, and you don't have to worry about, oh my God, I got to pay $15,000, $20,000 on there. You are
yeah,
in a very good space with Chronoswiss, and I think the newer versions, of course, they are very, very, high end, and I think it's always good to have, a place to go to with the old ones too. So
sure.
comparing it and trying to find out what you want.
I think I can remember they had a jumping hours, and it was a digital display. I think it was called the Delphus or
Delphis.
something like that. And it was in a rectangular shaped case, which
Yes.
it's still very, very unusual to
They
see a
still
piece
have
like
it. I think they just came out with two of those for $15,000, and then I think one exclusive hand carved model rose gold for I think $60,000 or something like that.
Okay, right. Good. I was always it's nice to see him. It's not normally the territory that we would go to when we're specializing in independence here, but I guess it's family owned, and
Yeah.
with it. So some of the larger brands are also family owned too when it gets down to
Yeah,
it.
of
So
course. I mean,
where do you draw the
brands,
line?
brands have been, evolving and trying to get. I mean, looking at Arminstrom case, I mean, how that was and how it's gone to where it is right now. It's insane. But
Yeah.
in the end, it's still Arminstrom, and in the end, it's still Chronoswiss. And in the end, the brands have kept their way and their purpose and the path. So which is
Their
actually
philosophy.
exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of a brand that this brand that I'm going to look at is was originally founded by I think it was Antoine Czapek back in the 1860s. So he teamed up with Patek, two young Czech immigrants arriving into Switzerland, and both of them knowing how to make as watchmakers, but precious little else. And I don't know what happened to that Patek guy, but I can tell you that the Czapek are making a comeback over the last 10 years as the brand has been reborn. It has been given a brand new energy, and under Xavier, who has been a real visionary. He's put his ass into making this brand succeed. And one of the pieces that they created about 5 years ago, I think maybe would it be as long as that, was the Antarctique. And Antarctique was one of the first of the new generation of stainless steel sports style watches with integrated bracelets. And so they had also introduced their own new in-house movement, which
Oh.
featured a platinum micro rotor. I remember actually part of that narrative, part of that story being that whenever it came out originally,
Yeah.
I think it had a gold micro rotor, but the gold micro rotor hadn't got sufficient mass to keep the movement round. And so they had to go back to the drawing board. And you know, it's a funny thing. I'm delighted to see how Czapek have under Xavier de Rocamorel has come and ridden the storms that have that were thrown at it. But by finding out the hard way sometimes, as I say, I mentioned the micro rotor that we can see here. It's now platinum, and so they had to go back to the drawing board with their movement, which is the SH Hex 5 and self-winding. I have to say, I love the contemporary architecture of that movement. I think it is an absolutely beautiful thing to behold. And so, but to have seen Czapek coming through this, learning on the hoof, I knew that whenever the Antarctique came out first, there was a huge demand for it.
Yes.
And they actually, I think they got slightly overwhelmed by the demand. They had to expand their manufacturing. They had to employ new people. They had to fit out. They really were. They were expecting a bump in sales when you bring out a new model or a new line. But I think the popularity of the Antarctique caught them by surprise. And I know from my experience in working with customers who were in the process of acquiring one, that there were a number of delays, to the point that Xavier even very, very honorably and very sensibly made a couple of YouTube videos himself to explain to customers what was happening with their watches, what were the reasons for the delays. And I thought it was really, really well handled, and it put a very human side on the watch manufacturing process. So I was delighted to see this. This is the Antarctique Frozen Meteor. Yep. So it has it uses a sliver of Gibeon meteorite, which is iron, and it has been then treated and given a coating of blue lacquer to bring it up, to bring that beautiful color out of it, and also it really highlights that unique pattern that you get with the meteorite. And so again, a really nice piece. I have done up just for you, Jayesh, a little fact sheet here. And
can I something about this? Such amazing, information of the we talk about, because sometimes things what we don't say, or some people are interested in to find out. For example, the platinum micro rotor. We talked about it, but what are the functions? What is the price? About what it's going to cost? Is it what is the metal? It's so important to have this little information right there next to the watch, and it's so makes so practical.
I'm glad you like it. It is absolutely got no benefit at all to people who are listening on the podcast. It is what we're doing, folks. We've got a little kind of a dossier on the specs of each watch that we cover, or as many as we can do, because you have to get all that information. And I know that I have a team of minions here to do that for me, or actually no, I don't. It's me, right? It's me. So but it's here, man. Again, Jay, it is we do it because we love it, and it's good fun. This, this little half hour or whatever we do is always worth putting in the effort to make the presentation as good as it does. But so anyway, that's enough blowing smoke up my own backside here. The piece that we're talking about here was the Antarctique Frozen Meteor, The dial, which is made out of Giveon meteorite with the blue lacquer, it has applied white gold, I believe, or no, stainless steel. Our indices with, like the hands, with a generous application of superluminova, so it is very easy to read in all light environments. A limited edition of, right, get this, because there are actually two sizes. There's the Antarctique and the Antarctique S. The S being the smaller, which is 38.5 mil, and they're both the identical height. They're both what I believe they are 10.6 millimeters in height, and so there's two sizes. So the 38.5 and the 42.5, both identically priced. The 38.5 millimeter is being released with 25 examples of that, and the 42 millimeter. I need to check up here. Is it 42 or 40? I think it's 40.5 for some reason. Is also, it's available in, there's 38 pieces in that size as well. So although this little fact dossier is always a great thing to have, whenever it's telling you two things at the same time, you gotta think on your feet, Jay. And
listen, didn't we talk about the sizes last time? How everybody's going back to the smaller versions?
We're
looking at Twinkle. We're looking at all of these major brands. Vacheron came up with 34.5 overseas. I mean, there are so many brands who are going back from the larger sizes, and whatever the reason may be, but I think it's getting to be a trend with all the brands. Is it true what I'm saying, or is it something
unquestionably it is the case sizes. At the end of the day, some of the biggest markets in the globe do not particularly like oversized watches, and you've got to cater, and that's not just in geographically, but that is also in the genders. In that, it used to be in the past, and I think it was criminally overlooked, was the female catchment, the female demographic. That the husband was going in and buying the cool new Rolex sports watch and coming out with a dinky little 24 millimeter watch with a quartz movement or something like that there. And let me tell you, Jay, girls like their watches, and they like nice watches too. You can't palm them off. And I think it's totally disrespectful, actually, that so many of the big brands literally blanked that, and some of them continue to do, blanking out the female market. And but that's going off. That's a conversation for another day.
Yes, we have to talk about that also another day. Just looking at the statistics of the watchmakers and the watchmaking industry itself, mostly Swiss. I mean, obviously, when you go back looking at the data, you will see also the reasons why. But anyway, that is for another day, as you said, and let us but keep that in mind.
Yep. Well, thanks for you covering my ass there for a couple of minutes. Or I was able to find out that the Antarctic, two sizes, 38.5 and 40.5.
Yes.
So that is confirmed. Czapek have just been in touch to tell me that they're actually, no, I went and visited their website while we were talking. So anyway, it's a smart piece. So then there's another brand which will take us to the close of this particular episode, Jay. And I know it's a brand that you've got a lot of time for, a lot of appreciation for, and that is Parmigiani Fleurier. Yeah?
Parmigiani Fleurier.
Founded by Michel Parmigiani back in the 1980s, yeah?
Yes, and also sponsored by the Sandoz family of Switzerland, who actually invested, the first investors and the last investors of the brand, because they didn't take any more. They didn't need to take any more investment from anybody else because of this big chunk what they got. But I think A very underrated brand for me. A very well done watches. I think some of the best quality watches ever came out of Switzerland were Parmigiani. And I think, the what you get for the price, what you pay is insane.
Well, you're coming. The watches that we have looked at this evening are all okay. The Czapek is 25,000. The Chronoswiss is 42,000. This is the Parmigiani Fleurier Tonda
Tonda,
PF
four.
Sport Chronograph Ultra-Cermet Mineral Blue. That's a mouthful, but it all makes sense. The Tonda PF Sport Chronograph is the model. It is made out of a material called Ultra-Cermet, and that is apparently a really, really challenging material to work with
Yes,
and to extract the kind of finishes that they have achieved with this piece. And it's a chronograph. The thing about the Parmigiani, like some of the brands that we've spoken about earlier, like Chronoswiss and Czapek, they have this very strong identity and in their case designs.
Yeah.
And I often marvel about how difficult it is with so many brands out there nowadays that to create something that is distinctive enough to stand out is it's quite an achievement. But then Parmigiani Fleurier are a brand that have been around for quite a while and they're obviously very well established and well set up at this point anyway. But what I wanted to say about Parmigiani Fleurier is that they're one of the brands that were new to me whenever I came into independent watchmaking. I had it's been a great journey of discovery for me.
Yeah.
Now, yes, I have been familiar with Parmigiani Fleurier for the best part of 20 years, but coming, as I said previously, in other times, coming from a small town here in Ireland, you don't get exposed to these brands. You only really get exposed to what you see in the Sunday supplements or the magazines that you buy, whether it's car magazines or sports or whatever, and you never see these brands until you come across them in the path of it. And that's what I love about what we're doing, because we're hopefully introducing some of these names
special
to people. Yeah, that's maybe I haven't seen that before, or I wasn't aware of that. Of course, in this day and age now, with the internet and so many high quality platforms out there, I use monochrome for a lot of the content, for a lot of my reading content. A great team there with at monochrome. Frank and Xavier and Brice and a great, and Rebecca, etc., that are a great team there. Also with the limited edition in the UK, my very good friend Pietro. And
what is the name of the other guy who is at the limited edition?
Ollie.
Ollie. Is he British?
Yes, he is. He's based in London, and he's so he is been definitely instrumental in pushing the limited edition into new heights and new territory, along with Pietro, who is great guy. It's Pietro's birthday today, for goodness sake.
Oh, happy birthday, Pietro.
Happy birthday, Pietro. Yay, brother. And so hopefully he's away somewhere nice and enjoying himself. So anyway, we have got off track with this one in some style, haven't we?
So tell me about Parmigiani Fleurier. Fleurier, isn't it a little village in Switzerland with the highest thing of watchmaking and the moments and things like that? Isn't it?
That sounds like you know better than I do, but I think you're actually right there, Jay, for sure. I think that's where the name comes from. It's where Michel Parmigiani established his brand, and so, and as you say, it's a watchmaking heartland and so, which goes because there's a sister company to Parmigiani Fleurier, and that is manufacturer voucher Fleurier. Sorry, I just got a message. So this is the Tonda PF Chronograph Ultra-Cermet Mineral Blue with the black ore dial with white gold hands and R indices. And so it is priced at 40,400 Swiss francs, ex taxes, of course, and measuring 42.5 and 13.5 in height, and is powered by this is where I was going. The in-house winding movement is the PF070 by manufacturer Voucher Fleurier, which is
Voucher Fleurier, yeah, of course.
Of course, that's what I'm saying. It's basically their in-house movement.
Yeah.
They're the MVF are the sister company of Parmigiani Fleurier, and it's I really love this combination. That pale blue with set against the black. It's kind of it's black leaning towards anthracite, and so it's a smart little piece. So
why is it that this brand has been very underrated? Why? I mean, is there a reason why? I know that you've done all your research with Parmigiani. I know that you've been following this brand for the past 20 years or more. I don't know, but what is actually? I mean, I know that they have their clientele. They have their enthusiasts who are very much onto them, but is it because they don't do so many pieces and they just want to be, under the radar? I don't know.
I think the brand was acquired, or at least not acquired, but it was a new chief executive, I think, was introduced a number of years ago. And I think what you're looking at there is basically repositioning, where they're positioning themselves in the market, aligning with particular retailers that they want to work with. And so when you're going through that process, I think it's kind of a transition is going on. And so you go from where you have visibility to a point where it's not as obvious. But the objective, the long-term objective, is that you're aligning with a specific network of retailers who you can trust to promote the brand and take the brand forward. And I don't know, I can't say it for absolute certain, but I do know that there was that I could see actually at one point that there were changes happening with who they worked with. And so you could actually, I'll tell you how you could tell, because sometimes you'd be going around doing Geneva or Baselworld, and you'd know you were maybe attending meetings one year and you weren't attending meetings the next year because they were moving away from that model towards something different. And so it's so I'm not sure, but I think I actually witnessed that. I saw that with Parmigiani Fleurier, that they were making changes to their distribution.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know the reasons why, but I always thought they just wanted to be under the radar. They have their own, as I said, enthusiasts and their clients, and the people buying their watches. I also seen Parmigiani in a lot of hands in these communities which I'm in.
Highly regarded. Yeah,
very highly regarded, very high. And they're like, you're looking at, FP Jaune, you're looking at the Pateks, you're looking at the, those Grails, plus you're looking at the Parmigianis, who people are they're regarded very high.
Yeah, without a doubt. And perhaps, you hit on something there as well, because, there are certain brands. We mentioned him last week, Ben Hayes, who's coming forward with his new news brand, and what he wants to do is introduce a watch brand or collection, which is, I think, starting at around about 20,000 Swiss francs. And so I read with interest that he wants immediately to jump into producing thousands of pieces per year. And I go, whoa, okay. that's ambitious for a brand just entering the market. Uh, Sometimes I'm not going to say that it won't happen or that he can't do it. Far be it for me to say that, but I think that you look at brands like Parmigiani Fleurier, and you look at the brands that are around them, and so I would put Arm& Strong in a similar kind of a category.
Yes,
They might go, "Don't you dare associate us with each other," but so I just see it as being, they're they're at that point where an independent watchmaker is becoming an independent brand. And so, and that's what's happened with Arm& Strong, with Czapek, with Parmigiani Fleurier some time ago. I looked then at a brand like Moser, and I see something different in Moser there, because I see an aspirational brand there that are wanting to continue to climb up the ladder. They have the know-how, they have the capacity, the production capacity to increase what they do. They're very, very dynamic with their innovations, with their
right
marketing.
word, dynamic, right word. Yes.
Yeah. And and so you see, where you go to Watches and Wonders, and you go into the Palais Expo there, and you have the Carré des Horlogers, and there's where sometimes you find a lot of the brands that are just happy creating 300 watches a year, and or maybe, and that's quite, I think that's quite an achievement. And but as we know, the demand is increasing. And then you step outside Carré des Horlogers, as in this year, because Moser were actually out on the main in the main area, along with the other brands. And they're also sponsoring Formula One, as we mentioned before.
Alpine.
Yeah. And
Pierre Gasly. Yes.
Pierre Gasly, yeah, and doing pretty well as well.
They're doing well.
Yeah.
Very, very
I actually noticed something, that they changed their message. They used to have the H. Moser and C insignia, and people, I don't think they were spending all this money on F1, and people, I don't think, were connecting with this classical traditional insignia. So they've changed it to Moser watches, and now we get it.
Makes sense, because people like to read what it is, not to see a logo or whatever, which actually is not recognizable. I always say recognizable are 10 brands in the world. That's the only thing what is recognizable, but everything else has to be written so that people read and check. Oh, yes, this is the one.
So that's why I see Parmigiani Fleurier are said kind of, they're in around that same level as another brand I put that pitch in there, in around the same level as the likes of Arnold and Son, who are also really pushing forward as well. So they're very, very high end, and they're not inexpensive watches, any of those, but they're kind of at that level of production or turnover figures that are probably sustainable for them. That's why when Bellamace comes out and says we're going to start making thousands of watches, but watching that with interest,
I mean, why not? If you can sustain and there are doors to put it there, why not? I always think about what's his name from Seven Friday. Federer. When he first came out with the first micro brand, one of the first, like with
Daniel Lederer,
and when his main focus was friends, people, and the path. And what he did was, I want to put this next to a Rolex or next to an Omega and have Seven Friday be recognizable, so that people see the industrial value, they see what we want to do, no crazy brand marketing and whatever else, but people want to go together to a place in Turkey or to Tuscany or whatever else, and have people there and be together, drink, eat, have some games, and this is what he wanted, and he did a very good job for some years.
Still, yeah. When Seven Friday, I subscribe to most of the watch brands. So when there's a newsletter comes out, I always make sure I take a look at what Seven Friday are doing. And,
are they still doing well?
I think they had a real heyday about 5 years ago, and when they broke out, because they were innovative. They were very, very keenly priced. Okay, they were using Miyota movements, and and people look down their nose at that. But at the end of the day, if you're not buying a watch that's into the several thousands, you're not really buying it for the movement anyway, are you?
Exactly.
So
they never hid the fact that the movements are Chinese. The way they assembled it was in China. They designed it in whatever, but that's it. You know what I mean? So it's all about how you communicate and what you do, and the designs were excellent. And I remember
excellent, and the whole and the energy.
Yes, exactly.
The energy coming off Seven Friday was one about have fun.
Absolutely.
Go out and have fun.
Absolutely.
Put on your bright colors.
Yes.
Go and get your beach shorts on. Go on.
Every day is a Friday. 7 days a week is a Friday. It's like 7 Friday. It's insane to come out with something like that. Have fun. Life is short. Don't, I remember him saying always, don't tell me, show me.
Good attitude. Good attitude. So, we'll have to do a talk about Seven Friday someday, or include them at least, because as I was preparing for today's episode, I did notice there was a couple of other pieces coming up. I didn't get an opportunity to upload and to get ready here, but a lovely little range from Studio Underdog, which are similarly
colorful ones.
Yeah, man, but they're similar to Seven Friday.
Oh, very, very.
Maybe we do one on Seven Friday and Studio Underdog and a few pieces of that are accessible. I'm wary of straying into the micro brand territory, because that territory is covered by 100 people on YouTube and things like that there, but still they're noteworthy. They're doing nice things, and that are definitely worthy of comment. And we've got a brand in Ireland called Nomadic as well, who are
yes, I know the Nomadic brand.
Yeah. So they're on the up as well. So there's but I guess what we've got to do is choose our lane and stick in it. So we're not going to be covering the big brands. My passion, our passion, the thing that we love are the independents.
Absolutely correct.
So,
I'm so looking forward for the news. What you're going to put out in the next couple of weeks?
Yes. So I worked on something, and I am trying to make something happen, and punching above my weight.
Not just making something happen, Johnny. You have made it happen before, and I think that what is going to happen now is going to be amazing.
Well, it's going to be cool. It's going to be cool, and so we'll hopefully have news in the next few weeks. I just want to have the I's dotted and the T's crossed before I say anything, instead of putting.
100%. I think that's the right way to do it. And as I said, however right the way is, I'm looking forward to it anyway. So
even if it's just catching up for a pint, right? For sure. So, man, I thought we would be lucky to get 30 minutes out of.
I thought so too. We're always doing this all the time. It's always 50 to 1 hour, and that's how it's supposed to be.
It's cool. And do you know what we didn't do? And it's a shocking thing, but we should at least put an image of it up, because it's the Parmigiani Fleurier movement, which is stunningly beautiful. Absolutely, this is haute horlogerie,
and also you know where it's all coming from. And I know that he does the same thing as our friend Holzmann, who actually they do everything in house.
Yeah. So it's a cool thing. And if anybody from Parmigiani Fleurier were watching, I think they're all actually gathered around the television this evening because
All of
there's no World Cup on. So like, what else would they be doing but watching?
Oh, we have seen enough of that yesterday with the French referee putting Egypt to their place because of Argentina. Not good.
There have been a few questionable decisions. Let me tell you.
But then it's FIFA. FIFA, they have their own way of doing things. When it's a multi-billion-dollar NGO or a non-profit organization or non-governmental organization, it is very questionable. And you also know about all the things what happened a few years ago. They're still going back to the same thing, and I think that what they did yesterday is going to stick, and it's going to smell a long, long, long time. That was very bad. You don't do things like that. It's a game.
Yeah, the trust in the organization is gone. And you can't buy that back. You can't win that back. They'll never win me back.
Me neither. I mean, I always knew it was like that. It's a game, for God's sake. It's 4 billion people are watching this. It's one of the biggest in the world, and you are trying to put it like that. You just because you can.
Yeah.
Really? No.
We'll do a World Cup special in a couple of weeks, folks. Don't you dare miss it. But actually, you never know. I'm going to have a dig around and see if there are any World Cup stories.
I know I'm going to get a lot of haters for this, but the whole world.
You're thinking what? People standing up and defending FIFA? I don't think you're going to get too many of those, really. So anyway, folks, we have gone over 50 minutes. Thanks so much, Jay, for joining me, for taking the time out of your incredibly busy, hectic life as a restaurateur, as Chef Jayesh, and for coming and shooting the breeze with me about the thing that we love talking about, our watches. And folks, for those of you who have joined us, and it's been great to see you here, we'll be back next week, fingers crossed. And if there's anything to talk about, because it's a lean time, everybody's away, but we'll find something, I am sure, and we'll do that. But for now, thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will catch you the next time around.
Thank you. Bye, guys.